Hey guys, Godzilla851 here, and we are finally back with our Godzilla review / retrospective. With our next film, Godzilla, Thai Mechagodzilla. English translation, Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. Here in the States, it's known as Godzilla vs. Bionic Monster. US theatrical release. Early home video was known as Godzilla vs. the Cosmic Monster. Later known as Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. And oh boy, of all the Showa series films, this is gotta be one of the most important films, but let's not get ahead of ourselves, let's move in. Our film opens up with Anguirus of all people, or monsters I should say, out on an island, or a snowy mountainous range. I have no idea where he is, they don't really say, and he's roaring into the air. At what? I don't know. Then a nearby mountain explodes, and then we're bombarded with our title screen. Okay. Then we cut to Okinawa, where we meet our main characters, the brothers Shimizu. And they're enjoying a performance by a priestess / prophet / final member of the Izumi royal family. When she's performing, she immediately gets a vision and sees that King Ghidorah is destroying whatever city and killing people. And the brothers go over to her, try to help her out, and her crazy grandfather comes out of nowhere and she says, "Oh, a monster will attack the city and kill the people who tried to run away." So it's like, okay. So the brothers Shimizu, they're driving around. Well, the elder brother, he works at a dig site, when the younger brother, he's more of a photographer. And he goes into it, and the younger brother goes into a cave, and he finds this item. Yes, it is a piece of metal of some sort, however, it's radiating. I have no idea what it's doing. So the elder brother, he goes to his dig site, and he sees a bunch of reporters are there. And he's looking around, seeing what's going on, when this young archaeologist comes over the line. He's like, "Hey, what do you think you're doing?" And they both go into the cave, and they see a bunch of cave drawings everywhere. And there's apparently this thing where when the Black Mountain rises, a monster shall come to Japan to destroy, well, not to Japan, but to come to destroy the world. And they find this peculiar looking statue. We'll get into that later. So the eldest brother and the archaeologist are actually flying to Tokyo, and they look out the window and they see a cloud in the shape of a black mountain. It's like, uh-oh, that's scary. When the younger brother is like, this thing is cool that I found, I'm going to take this to a professor and have looked at. And we meet our professor for the film. It's like, yeah, this is space metal. Yeah. Okay. So the elder brother, he meets up with his uncle, which is a professor of archaeology that the girl is looking into as well. And he's looking further into what's going on when an assassin / burglar / thief, he's whatever you need him to be, I guess, comes. He tries to steal a statue. A small fight ensues, but the assassin is able to get away. But off in the shadows, a man in black stands. As they're starting to calm down, we cut to a mountain range, and we see that the mountain starts to erupt, revealing Godzilla. Or at least he looks like Godzilla, but the roar is all wrong. And Godzilla is stomping around and actually beginning to destroy things. Like, what's up with Godzilla in this film? When the ground starts to shake and Anguirus comes out. And Angus is, roaring at Godzilla, and Godzilla actually proceeds to battle with Anguirus. Or Anguirus, sorry. The two are clashing when Anguirus is able to tear off a chunk of skin from Godzilla's arm, revealing metal. Okay. This doesn't make Godzilla very happy, so he begins beating the chowder out of Angus, actually breaking the poor thing's jaw and causing it to retreat underground. The elder brother is driving around at this time. He sees the battle and he finds more space metal. At least I think it's space metal, but he takes it to the same professor. It's like, yep, this is space metal. So they want to go inspect the cave where the first piece of space metal is. Meanwhile, Godzilla is still doing a rampage, revealing that he has a new power. Yes, orange atomic breath. And it just sounds like a death ray, actually, just destroying this city. When things look at their grimmest, they go by this oil factory where a building begins to shake, revealing this guy. Godzilla. And he's roaring the way he's supposed to roar, so Godzilla has arrived. So what's this other thing? Godzilla is battling with this thing, and he's destroying more and more skin off of it, revealing more and more metal pieces. We cut to underground, and we see these guys clad in these silver jumpsuits. Very odd looking. And the commander says, "You're mistaken if you think you're a match for Mechagodzilla." Presses a button, and the other Godzilla catches fire. Once the fire clears, revealing this. Mechagodzilla. And this thing does not play. As soon as the skin is off, revealing all of Mechagodzilla's other toys, he begins to dismantle Godzilla. Just firing missiles from his fingers, beams from his eyes, just becoming so much more than what Godzilla is, causing Godzilla to crash into the sea. It's like, okay, Godzilla's been hit hard, but then blood starts to rise from the ocean then, and no Godzilla. It's like, did he just kill Godzilla? But Mechagodzilla falls over because he's malfunctioning, and he goes away. So the next day, the professor and the younger brother and the professor's assistant, they go into the cave to look for more space metal, when we find that the silver jumpsuit people are there. And they take everyone hostage. And the commander of this space people, or spacemen as they're called, or simians, we'll get into that later, says that, oh, we'll use the professor because he knows space technology. We'll use an Earthman that knows space technology. Okay. So the professor is put to work fixing Mechagodzilla, and eventually he does. He fixes Mechagodzilla, and their plans are moving along. The professor is put into a holding cell with the two others, and they turn on the spa treatment, and it's pretty much killing them. Meanwhile, the older brother is taking a cruise with the archaeologist friend when the robber returns, and he is shot in the face by the older brother, revealing this. Yes, that this guy is part ape, I suppose. He's obviously an alien and an agent of the aliens. A battle ensues, and just as the alien seems like he has things in control, a gunshot comes from nowhere and knocks the alien over the side, seemingly with the statue. The statue is a fake. The captain actually has the real one. come to find out that the statue is known as the King Caesar statue. Okay, what's King Caesar? In time. And the person that shot was the man in black. What's his point? I have no idea. So the older brother goes to Okinawa, or in this area around Okinawa, and he sees the cave. Chokusi Cave, I think it's called, or I could be completely wrong, mispronouncing it. He goes inside, and guess what? We find another guy in silver. Before he finds the dude in silver, he finds Professor's pipe. It's a special pipe, we'll get into that later as well. And things look grim for the older brother, but then the man in black reveals himself one more time, saving the older brother, and says he's an Interpol agent named Nambara. They break into the space base that's on Earth, but okay, sorry. And they save the professor and the two others, and they escape. Now, it's foretold that when a red moon, when the sun rises from the west, there's the east, oh boy, rises from the west, you place the statue on the top of this spot where the royal castle is, and it'll awaken King Caesar. And they go to do that. A mild gunfight takes place there, but we reveal another agent working for Interpol. Saves everyone, and they place the statue on the castle. Meanwhile, at the space base, I gotta figure out a better name for that, the Professor and Nambara are captured. And the younger brother as well. And they're captured by, I guess his name is Moogle, or Mogul, or something, the commander of the space base. And the sun rises, and this laser comes from the eyes of the King Caesar statue, destroying a nearby mountain near the water, revealing King Caesar, a lion god with pretty cute looking monster, to tell you the truth, but he's not moving. Come to find out, he needs to be awoken. How do you wake him up? You gotta sing to him. And that was the point of the priestess from earlier. And she goes to the beach and begins singing King Caesar to wake up. Kind of like an alarm clock in a way. So yes, she goes to the beach and she begins singing. And she sings a lot. If you have something to do, this is a good time to either fast forward. But then again, it's a nice song as well. So, you know, sit back and give it a listen. But she gives this song a good while and eventually awakens King Caesar. And King Caesar is, you know, stumbling around, you know, just woken up, when the commander of the space base is like, well, crap. Launch Mechagodzilla. And they do. They launch Mechagodzilla. So Mechagodzilla battles with King Caesar, and he wipes the floor with King Caesar. King Caesar has this cool thing where he's able to deflect energy back at an opponent, like Mechagodzilla's eye lasers. But that only lasts for so long, and Mechagodzilla is just the guy. When the ocean begins to foam, and guess who returns? Godzilla. And we have our rematch. Godzilla comes back to battle with Mechagodzilla. And the fight is pretty even back and forth. Mechagodzilla, with his flying abilities, is able to avoid Godzilla's atomic breath, but also Godzilla's able to grab onto Mechagodzilla and bash into him. King Caesar rejoins the battle, but Mechagodzilla, showing off more of his powers, able to turn his head backwards and fire from behind him while firing from the forward as well, hitting Godzilla and attacking King Caesar at the same time. This thing is awesome. Alright, kudos to you space guys. You designed a really awesome monster. Or machine, whatever, it's splitting hairs. When back at the space base, the professor and Umbara are talking, and remember that pipe from earlier? Well, the professor has this pipe. When you take the pipe apart, you can throw it in two different directions, and it'll short out any mechanical machinery, whatever. So Numbara has this special ring with a skeleton key on it, and the skeleton key was able to get them out of their shackles, and they start moving into position. Back up on the fight though, Mechagodzilla is still pummeling both King Caesar and Godzilla at the same time. King Caesar taken out of the fight, and Godzilla actually began to bleed. And bleed a lot. Blood spraying everywhere. Being shot up with missiles. It's like, oh god, they're gonna detonate soon. Godzilla's really gonna be messed up. When Godzilla gets his second wind, and he stands up to face Mechagodzilla with all these needles inside of him. Missiles. When Godzilla shows off an ability that I neglected to say earlier in the film, when Godzilla, went off to, recuperate, he began being struck by lightning and began to glow blue like this. Godzilla has now arrived, and he has started doing that again. What does this mean? Godzilla is now become Magneto, apparently. Yes, he's able to draw in metal objects and to draw in Mechagodzilla. Unable to escape, Godzilla pulls Mechagodzilla down from the sky with his magnetic powers and holds onto Mechagodzilla. Wow, I'm saying it. Wow. Sorry. King Caesar doing some more damage, bashing into Godzilla and then to Mechagodzilla. When Godzilla grabs a hold of Mechagodzilla and begins spinning Mechagodzilla's head in the opposite direction of where it's supposed to go. He keeps on spinning it until he breaks Mechagodzilla's neck and his head. The spacemen are completely at loss of words for this when the professor, Numbara, and the younger brother, they throw the pipes, cause a distraction, gunfight ensues, and the spacemen have been defeated. The base begins to explode, and then Mechagodzilla explodes, knocking Godzilla into the ocean. Godzilla rises from the ocean, roaring in victory. As King Caesar crawls back into his mountain to go back to sleep, Godzilla goes out to sea, and the film ends on a positive note that the aliens have been defeated. And that was Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. Excellent film, guys. This is another one of the best Showa films in the Godzilla Showa series. I give this film an S. I saw this film as a child, and when I first saw Godzilla rise from the mountain and he had the weird roar, I had no idea what was going on. But then it revealed itself, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. And come to find out, when I grow up a little more, this film came out before the Terminator, so they kind of did that little shocking twist that there was a machine underneath before Terminator did, so kudos to that. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the Terminator franchise, but seriously, Godzilla did first, so haha. That's a little joke. Terminator's awesome. So anyway, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. All the human characters are awesome in this film. The villains are awesome, even though it is an alien invasion story. These guys are cool. They built an awesome machine with Mechagodzilla. outstanding work. I love this film, and it leads into the direct sequel right after this film, but we'll get into that next time. Well, this is Gojira851 saying goodnight. See y'all later.